Hello and welcome to Outlaw Bookseller with me, Stephen E. Andrews, writer, bookseller, collector. And today I guess is collecting because a viewer has got in touch with me about his collection, his predominantly science fiction collection of books which have cover illustrations by a particular artist. And that artist is the ever wonderful Chris Foss. This is Hardware, which is £25, been in print for some years now, which is a celebration of Chris Foss's long career as a graphic artist. And he's done loads and loads of book covers from the late 60s right up until recently. And in the 70s and early 80s, you could not get away from Chris. And he came up with some of the most amazing, iconic SF images ever. And as Brian Aldiss, who said it best, says on the back of this, Chris Foss's name has become preeminent among SF artists. He is in love with the monstrous, with angular momentum, with inertia-free projectiles and irresistible objects. Well, you can't put it better than that. And the viewer who got in touch with me is a very nice chap called Neil Burkinshaw. And Neil, as I say, has been collecting books with covers by Chris Foss. And he's furnished me with some video and some stills of his collection, which I'm going to show you now without any further ado. Okay, well, this is the Fossarium, as Neil calls it, the room he has dedicated to his Chris Foss collection. As you can see, it's a absolute cornucopia of delights, and he has the hardcovers, you'll notice, perched behind the paperbacks, and also he has different variants in terms of typefaces, like for example the Poole Anderson Conquests. I know he's after another variant of that. So often he'll have a book with the artwork and he'll have the same artwork on a later edition but different typefaces on the legend on the cover. So he's looking for that. But yeah, this is fantastic, isn't it? I've got so many of these books myself, or in many cases they were things which I sold many years ago in my career in bookselling, and they take me right back. And there's also art books. He has foreign editions as well, which you're seeing here now, which are absolutely fantastic. And Neil shot this for me and kindly supplied it to me. And I've slowed the video down by half. It would have been just a minute long. So this is extended to 2 minutes. Look at those skylarks there. So many familiar titles. Marvelous, and some unfamiliar ones as well. Look at that, great stuff. And you know, you forget how much Foss has done. Absolutely fantastic. And there's some very rare books there. Joy of Sex, of course, which he illustrated as well, which is a bestseller. And here we see a lot of his thrillers and techno thrillers, because he's not just an SF artist, he did lots of other work in other areas too. And some really beautiful things over here. He has the aquarium next to the Fossarium, Encyclopedia of SF. And some artwork. There's some promotional artwork. We'll come back to that. Absolutely fantastic. Isn't that great? And what you'll see after this segment is you'll see a look through all his collection a bit more slowly in still form. Here we go. Now, I think you'll agree that's pretty impressive. It's really, really good. And when Neil first got in touch with me, it was because I had a couple of Chris Foss jacketed hardcovers by Asimov, which he didn't have. And funnily enough, they were things I was looking for a couple of years back. And another viewer of the channel got in touch with me and offered them to me at a really reasonable price. So it's a full-blown collector jamboree. But Neil wrote to me and he told me the story of how he got addicted to Chris Foss's artwork. And this is what he says. I'm going to read his email. So young me finds a copy of The Six Fingers of Time in the bookcase at home, is blown away, and is directed to the local children's library in Lincoln, where more of this science fiction could be found, courtesy of people like Mr. Heinlein, who sent me travelling in his spacesuit and exploring Mars's canals with some sort of pet Martian. Not sure about the details. Some of you, of course, will know which book that is. Then the teen library became accessible because I was 13. Through those doors were beanbags in many hues, purple and mauve, and no doubt another shade of purple, and paperback books the like of which I had never seen. The Caves of Steel. What the hell is that thing? Spaceships of such size and variety adorned every cover, and I was gone. I would walk up Spring Hill every Saturday morning, clutching 3 or 4 books, each promising a journey to worlds that would make your head spin. I would read all 3 and sometimes return to the library that same day to replace them. Then I picked up Slan. At this point, my book selections were more nuanced, and I was selecting authors as well as covers. I read Slan and scratched my 14-year-old head. This is just not fair. Where was the giant pointy rocket ship hurtling, I think Neil means, at fantastic speed to some enormous towers in the far distance? Now that's where. Just some telepaths with tendrils lurking and being bad, or good, I can't remember. I did remember the artist, because a wiser, older friend told me his name and pointed out to the little F in a box in the corner of the cover. In those days, it was entirely possible to pick up 5 books for £1 in the comic book and SF bookshop in the mini market in Lincoln, and I did this many times. I still have them all, and it's all due to that F in a box. If Chris had actually read the book and drawn a man with tendrils on the cover lurking, which I'm sure other editions do, there is a chance that the Fossarium, and that's what Chris calls his collection, would still be a bedroom with a nicely made bed, an empty wardrobe, and a nightstand with a lamp, awaiting the day it was called into use because your sister is coming to stay on Thursday. As a side note, once the teenage library had been exhausted and I moved on to the adult library, and lacking any sense of purpose or knowledge, I discovered that G on the spine, and especially G on a yellow spine, meant that possibly, just possibly, I would fly through space once again. So that's Neil's discovery of Chris Foss and SF, which is a charming story. I think you agree. There is a wants list. There are some things he wants. They're in a PDF form, so I will list them underneath in the comments, but I've got a PDF. So if anybody's interested, email me and I'll send you the PDF and you'll see what he's looking for. And he's actually even looking for some stuff which was never released, but which might still exist in proof form. But I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks very much again, Neil, for sharing your collection with us. It's absolutely marvellous. And if I'm ever up Lincoln Way, I would love to come and see it. And best of luck in your collecting of Chris Foss. But I think you'll all agree that's really quite something charming, isn't it? This is Outlaw Bookseller, signing off for now. I'll see you again soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and of course the club room is still there, $4.99 a month for an exclusive video every week. Bye for now.